Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to a little video I've done for the 10th anniversary of Minecraft. As you're probably aware, the Minecraft was not released, but made available to the public just about 10 years ago. And so I've been working on something with two of my original maps from when I first started playing. So what I've done is I'm calling this growth ring, so making a ring around the map for each version of the game, and then progressively going through the versions as I sort of detailed how to change versions within the game on a previous video. This is my initial island. As you can see from this sign, it's from version 1 alpha 1.1.2 going up to beta 1.4, possibly 1.5. This is my first world, I think, or possibly my second world, my island base. And I'm going to see if I can make this map available and sort of save it on my Google Drive or something, and put a link in the description. I'll also put a link to my other video which details how to change versions in the Minecraft launcher. But what I'm just going to do, I've gone through, I've made a ring going around the map in a kind of rectangle, just to get an idea of how things change. And each ring is about 250 meters, or 256 meters wide. So if we come out to here, this is the first extension, which was still while I was playing on this map, and actually, so this was beta 1.5, so some of the stuff on that map is possibly from beta 1.5 as well, on the island. One of the things you can see at this point in the game is the leaves. There were, I've added this spruce tree and this birch tree because that's when they came in. But this is an oak tree with, if we look, you've got oak leaves, we've got jungle leaves, what are now called jungle leaves, and some birch leaves. These are all just part of the leaves that grew on an oak tree, just different textures. And it wasn't until later that they decided to assign them to different trees. But as I've gone through each sort of portion of the map, I have added things like these spider webs that were made available new blocks at that point. I'm not sure how the chicken got in here. Anyway, so how can I make it? And a new recipe. Anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of quickly go around this, when I say quickly, and just show you some of the houses with some of the new blocks. I've made a walkway on this one, which is quite high, and kept this consistent the whole way through. And I'm just going out in one direction, sort of off into one corner, which I believe in this case is east, southeast. So here we are, and hang on. The signpost up here tells us here, at this point we are at 1.66 of beta, and I think at this point we've got slabs, trapdoors, Actually, I think trapdoors might be the only new block I've included in this part. I've also included chests of things that I collected as I was going along, but also some of the parts used to build the base on each location. So if I take a diagonal, we can go up here to the next area. Now this is going to sort of do cuts, possibly not as much as the first one, but there are changes in the way the map was generated, so you do get some interesting cuts, possibly even these chunks here, doing strange things. So this house is beta 1.7.3, and I think the new block at this point is pistons and sticky pistons, so I've included those. Let's move on to the next. You can see sort of how the land changes. Obviously at this point I'm in 1.14, so some changes to the way the textures are displayed, and in fact the resource pack will sort of display even on all, the previous bits of the map. And other parts will only sort of show as you sort of find those new blocks. This is the 1.8 ring. As you can see, I've put the coordinates here. This is this coordinate, 620 by 1010, and then it goes round to the other corner at minus 970 minus 610. And at this point we have stone bricks added into the game. All the details of which blocks and stuff are available on the Minecraft Gamepedia wiki. So I'll not sort of spend too long detailing this. But yeah, here you see another big difference in the actual map generation. So I must have gone a little bit further that way to have generated that chunk just there. The render distance I'm using on this one is just a render distance of 8 chunks, which is 128 meters. So here at 1.0 release, this I believe is when the Nether came in properly with Nether brick, Nether sort of fortresses. So we've got Nether brick stairs and slabs and things. So I've added those into that building. Obviously the initial island and the first bit were done in survival mode. The rest I have just gone round in creative. Although, as you can see, sometimes the map generation is a bit slow, so you have to you can't do it all by flying. You have to drop onto the ground and run a bit as well. So it's taken a while to do this. And here, I believe this is probably our release 1.1. Yeah. And I've just made a sort of little village house. So this is, as well as try to make sort of good looking houses. Here, unfortunately, the only new blocks were end stone. and in stone bricks, so I've just used some of that for the base. That's odd. Okay, that's better. Anyway, on to the next part. Obviously I'm showing this, these rings, or one corner of the rings, but as I say, each one is about 256 meters wide going around the whole thing, so they expand as the versions go up. And so if you do sort of download this map, it's probably going to be some interesting to explore. I'm also going to try and get a mapcrafter render, but I need to find something like mapcrafter that works for 1.14. So here we are with release 1.2.5, with jungle trees, jungle brown, jungles and jungle wood added in there. Continuing out, and we sort of see the land changing. It's quite interesting to see sort of the differences in biomes. Here you can see an abandoned mine, just catch a glimpse of it before the sort of chunks render properly. So those are in the game at that point. I'm not sure exactly, I can't remember when they were in, but they may have come in before that. I seem to recall 1.2.5 was quite a good version. Lots of mod packs and stuff were around for that, and in fact I made a mod pack myself at that point. So here we have another version. I think this is 1.3.2. They added in emerald blocks and sandstone stairs, and that's 1.3.1 actually. So yeah. These are all, obviously these are very small houses, just starter things with, the very basics. And in fact none of them really have a bed except for maybe one or two. But I don't think I added a bed in hardly any of them. So let's carrying on to the next one. This is, I think, 1.4.2. There we are, yeah. And in this cobblestone wall there. And beacons were also added at this point, so I've added some beacons for lighting. Flower pots. And the sandstone was actually an earlier version with different types of sandstone, but I've used them here as well. So, let's just have some daylight. So, going through the swamp. I mean, I could load up an earlier version to sort of show the differences in the world. I do actually still have the original alpha versions, or the files for the alpha versions, so what I might do is include those, because it might be interesting just to take a wander out in the same direction and see what differences there are in the world. So here at 1.5.2 now, we've got quartz, and this is when a lot of quartz stone was added, quartz pillars, quartz blocks, and also redstone blocks and redstone lamps. I think actually redstone lamps were done before, but I needed something to light the place up. So quartz stairs and slabs all in here. Carrying on. We go through, see more jungle over there. Over some plains, hills, mountain biome here. Some natural archway. And this version is 1.6.1. So in this one we had hardened clay, and it came in all colours, and then later on got called terracotta, which is why you can see on the right it says this is cyan terracotta, and also added was carpet. Again in all of the 16 colours that Minecraft uses, as well as hay bales. Still getting lots of odd sort of generation of floating island bits and things. That bit would actually make quite a cool base, I think. I do like building them in floating areas. Not sure it's this map, it might be the other map. I've done one like that. But here is the next house. And this one was when acacia and dark oak and red sandstone came along. I think also the glass panes of different colours as well, with different coloured glass blocks, so I've used those, and that is version 1.7.2 there. So if we move on, I think I might start skipping some of these bits, but as I say, I just like the exploring part of finding new places to build good houses and things. Here is the next house. I think at this point it's probably just version 1.8. Yeah. And at this time, andesite, polished andesite, and granite and diorite grinded into the game, so I've used those in this one. Dark oak, as I said, was added in the previous version, but use that as well because it fit, because this is a dark oak forest obviously. So carrying on, now there are other things around. I mean, it's a big map. Going through different versions, you can see sort of how the world generates in the bands. I was sort of trying, initially I was trying to sort of build bases that were just built, that you could do as a starter thing, and then, but the new block says they added in, things like purple. It was the only new blocks for this version, which I think would be 1.9. It became necessary to use that rather than, obviously you couldn't really get that as a starter base. So yeah, 1.9 there. And go up to the next house. Not sure it really fits the purple with the birch, but as I saw with demonstration of the blocks available. So this will be the 1.10 house. I've tucked it into this kind of nook in a hill here. New blocks here, nether wall blocks and redstone, red nether bricks. Red nether brick slabs, not red nether brick stairs, but also sort of spruce fences and fence gate at that point. Possibly added in before anyway. So again, obviously nether wart and red nether bricks you can't get until you've gone to the nether, and I haven't actually put another portal down anywhere. I don't think. If there will be one, it'll be right back at the first base anyway. So at this point it is 1.11. The new bricks added in 1.11, I don't think there were actually many. Let's see, because these are all added in previous versions, including the banners in fact. Let me double check what was new at this point. So no, at this point the only things that were new was an observer and the skulker chests, or the shulker chests rather. So no actual new blocks in this building. But at least I don't think I put an observer block anywhere. I know I did on another one. So let's go out to 1.12. 1.12, obviously the World of Colour update, and that did have a lot of new blocks. Mostly just the glazed terracotta, I think it was. I can't remember what to call it. But I did make some use of it in a little house down here. Also concrete in different colours as well. So yeah, different concretes, bone blocks, still using quartz stairs there, and the glazed terracotta. So just a little house using all of that. And that's the 1.12 update. So yeah, and by this point, as you can see, we're getting quite large. It's 8,000 nearly 8,000 meters, sort of each direction. So yeah, slightly longer than wide, but yeah, possibly wider than long, depending on which way you look at it. Anyway, going out now to 113, and just dip below the cloud here. Again, I don't think there was that much. Oh no, actually, sorry, 113 the aquatic updates. So yes, lots of different blocks. So I made a little house with some coral and some coral blocks under the water there, and some more glazed terracotta and things like that. Oh, and stripped logs as well. Yes. So just sort of little things here to, be just a little bit different, and sort of highlight some of the new features. So yeah, and that's 1.13, and I don't want to sort of show too much more of these, going to give you an idea of the design, but if I say I'll upload the map and people can have a look at it close up and sort of see how the things are done. So just coming out to the last version now, and I think I'm going to keep the maps and I'm going to sort of expand for the next version and so on. This version here is 1.14 and different button types. So I've got spruce buttons all the way around here. I've got scaffolding, very useful. Lanterns, what are they called? Yes, lanterns. Getting confused on lanterns and maps. Obviously different textures, but that affects everything. And the barrel. So let's just have a quick look at how big this one is at this point. The map is, I think, pretty big. I think it's probably what are we looking at? Almost, yeah, that's 9090 there. And math. It's a bit more than that. 9,250, something like that. No, 270. I don't know. 9,370. 9,100, 9,370. Yeah. Anyway, it's quite a lot. So, not a huge map, but I think it's something that's there's plenty to explore in there. So I'll show you the other one back in a moment. Okay, so we're back, and this is my initial base for my other map, the snowscape, as I called it. And I think this actually was world 1 of my original, so the first world I made, but I kind of preferred the other one. Anyway, so yeah, my snowscape map with a little eagle over there, and I've made a path going out. As you can see from the sign, this one was from alpha 1.1.2 to beta 1.6.6, and what I've done this one is a slightly different path. This one just goes out straight in a diagonal to the next point on the ring. And again, the rings are the same size, about 256 meters each. Ring, but you can see sort of the cut there, some of the chunks, and chunks sort of loading a bit unusually here at this point in the way the game rendered or created the map. New blocks added in this one, and this is beta 1.7.3 again. The versions sort of kept the same, so I think what I'm going to do, just to stop this video getting too long, is I'm going to sort of stop recording and start recording again as I get to each one. So I think at this point we have lily pads, or possibly not. The path actually on this one I did afterwards, so I used blocks that were available not necessarily at the time of each ring, but can see those as you go. So at this point then we are beta 1.8 with, I think, bricks new there, pumpkins. Don't know if the coloured wool was new, possibly as well. Maybe the stone buttons. I'm not actually sure which bits were new. Or, oh, the trapdoors. No, they were new for 1.6, weren't they? Anyway, so yeah, as I said, I will stop recording, start recording when I get to the next base. Back in a moment. So here we are now, version release 1.0. Ring's now about, what's that, 1500 meters each way. I made a little frost castle here. We've got snow blocks again. This is the point where nether brick was in, so nether brick fencing and nether brick staircases and things. As you can see, standard glowstone for lights, standard furnace, chest and crafting table. If we go out to the next one. So here we are, it's the 1.1 ring, and I've got a path going up to the floating house. I said I did one of these here, and I'm not sure if I added in any extra blocks there. I can't remember what new blocks were in. I'm sure I must have added in something. Can't think what it was. Problem is, you know, all the versions tend to blur together and you can't remember what block is what. Don't know. Someone finds out, then they can let me know. But in the meantime, again, I'm not sure why that one created like that. I don't know if that's sort of part of an odd chunk or something. But if we carry on, we can find the next base. Okay, so this one is version 1.2.5. We've got some redstone stuff going on here, redstone lamps, and possibly the cobblestone stairs. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. But certainly, yeah, certainly the redstone lamps for the lighting there. Possibly the pressure plates. This was sort of a bit of a redstone update, this one. So, move through. And it's just a sort of fairly straightforward house, although the shape has not particularly helped the roof design, but yeah, have to be a bit more careful about that. I think on some of them it can be problematic. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, so 1.3.1, I think at this point I'd gotten very lucky in that for this particular update ring I'd got jungle just near where I wanted to put a base. So here we have another kind of jungle base. This one's more just a, you know, house on top of a tree, or kind of on top of a tree, although, you know, made the trunk go through the house there, and all the jungle wood slabs and planks and things for that. It's fairly straightforward, that house. But if we carry on to the next, you can see another. So at this point I decided to make a houseboat. This is being on the water now, 1.4.2. I think at this point biomes generation changed quite a bit. There was a lot more ocean biome generated. New blocks here with cobblestone wall, and I think that's actually it, to be honest, out of everything I've got on there. raining and lights on. Wonderful. There we go. Right. Just clear that out. Okay, so yeah, just made a little houseboat there. As you can see, the diagonal causes its own problems being on ground level, because you can't just go straight through there. So I had to kind of make this little cut around, and that's the same for some of the other buildings in that direction, probably some out there as well. But we carry on, and we'll find the next. The ocean, unfortunately, I say, this became one of the main parts of the map generation at this point. It almost seemed to sort of get stuck generating ocean. But it does mean you can do things like a big middle of the ocean volcano, completely unrealistic obviously. Well, sort of. Galapagos Islands, being what they are. Weighted pressure plates added in this version. And yeah. Not much else to sort of say about this. It's just a I think that's the noise for dungeons now. It used to be slightly different. But this is, this one's actually quite a ways, because I wanted a bit of land to stick it on. That was the closest bit I could find, suitable. So this is the 1.5.2 ring there. So anyway, we'll carry on to the next version. So the release 1.6.1 ring here, and you might be asking, where is the base? Well, it's under here. So a small underwater base just here. Again, at this point, terracotta was called hardened clay, and carpets were added, so I've just added those into a small underwater area here. Or underground underwater area, I suppose, anyway. Underground area, So we'll carry on out to the next one. Lots and lots of ocean at this point, but I think we get back to ground level. There's another abandoned mine under there. But yeah, we get back to ground level fairly soon, I think. Over the ice. And a sort of small little island for, again, I had to go around the side of it. 1.7.2, because I didn't plan out the path properly, but I think this is the coloured stained glass here, blocks and panes, and just sort of put those down to look quite interesting, cover the stone stairs underneath to make an interesting floor. Anyway, so let's move on. Okay, so version 1.8 now, release 1.8, and here we've got the andesite, so I've got polished andesite there, and I've got normal andesite on the floor inside, as you can see there. And so those are the sort of new blocks, and then just a fairly simple-ish house design for it there. So I say that's version 1.8. At this point, what are we? 554, about 5,500 meters in each direction. So getting bigger. Each one, obviously, each ring is about an extra 500 meters from the last, because it's about 250 meters wider on each, each way. I do like some of the way that the bridges have worked out on these. For instance here, I mean this is the house, and again this is the point where they added purpose, so that's the only new sort of block there. That includes slabs and bricks and stairs and things. But I've had to kind of put the path all up this kind of side because that's the only way you could really go through. So that's the 1.9 ring, and that's about 6,000. So moving on. So at this point I've come to a village, and I've kind of joined up with the village path here, going around and then joining up again with my wood path. I'm trying to remember where the sign is. There it is. So this is version 1.10, and here's my house for this one. Again, this was the Netherwart edition. Netherwart bricks, Netherwart, Netherwart bricks, which I had to make the red Nether brick. Netherwart blocks. Sorry, not Netherwart bricks. Anyway, should read things more. Right. So just use those here. And again, as with the other map, all the sort of houses, they have that. And this villager has decided to make this his home, I guess. Anyway, it's my house, not yours. But then again, it's in the village border, so they're all going to just use it, I suppose. Can't really do much about that. I've made some modifications to the village because obviously, as you probably know, when villagers generate, they get a bit weird. The path itself was going all the way up there. I've cut it through the hill here. And initially this was all covering things like this house, so the person in the house couldn't get out and so on. Although with villagers sometimes that's actually a good thing. But yeah. So let's get on to the next base. So for 1.11 again, there wasn't really much new. Just the comparators, but I kind of decided to use those for parts of the stilts on this house here, and I think they kind of look alright. I didn't, initially I was sort of thinking I should go all the way and possibly that might look better or sort of something. Potentially I suppose you could sort of take a comparator and put one pointing up, one pointing down, and then have a space in the middle or something like that. Or another space in the middle, and kind of it would look a bit like a framework or something. Just because of the way the arrows point. Let's get rid of the weather again. And this is the night time. So yeah, that could work, I suppose, for things. So moving on, we're almost at the 1.12 house. There it is. Again, added concrete here, so I've used those. Sounds like there could be another dungeon nearby or something. But yeah, this is the 1.12 room. So go on to the 1.13, 1.14. So here we are at the 1.13 point, and I've made this house here using some different coloured buttons, stripped logs, and some dead coral, which I think does look quite good. So yeah, carry on with this and see the last thing. So yeah, here we are at the last house, the 1.14 base, and well, I say house, it's not really. So we've got some added things here, like the prismarine wall. The prismarine blocks were added in 1.8, I think. And of course the other thing about I couldn't do on the previous base for the aquatic update, this one is the magma sinking and patterned wall using the glazed terracotta, which takes entirely too long to actually sort of point the wall in the right direction to get the pattern, especially when they're on there. If anyone knows an easy way of doing that, yeah, I'd appreciate a comment. Thanks. So yeah, I think that's really about it. So, oh yes, I was going to look at how we are. So just at the end. Right, so yeah, we are, well, let's see, what is that? It actually looks smaller, I think. Oh, that's right, because there's one ring less, because the other one, because this one was already at beta 1.6, whereas the other one was only at beta 1.5 before I started doing the rings onto it. So yeah, so 3, 7, 6, oh of course, 4 to 4, yeah, 8,400. 8,500? About 8,500 or so. Yeah, so that makes sense. And the rain starts. So anyway, well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's sort of been helpful, and you know, if you want to download the maps, obviously I'll put the link in, as I say, and if I do get a mapcrafter working beforehand, I'll see if I can put a render up of each map as well, possibly include a zip file. The size of the actual unzipped worlds at this point is 1.6 gig for this one, 1.9 gig for the other one, but in the meantime, thanks for watching, and good night and farewell.